If you find it difficult to find your center, to find your place of calmness, your place of inner peace, it might be that you need to look backward into your past. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Center of Calmness. We are super blessed this evening to have Mr. Chris Lee with us out of Ontario. Good evening, Chris.
Evening. Thank you, DK, for inviting me on the show.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. How are things with you in Ontario at the moment?
Well, we just had a thunderstorm. We like that. Got some excitement because it's hard to get out lately.
Absolutely. Are you? Do you have a lot of restrictions still in Ontario with regard to the COVID-19 and pandemic?
It's not too bad. Most areas in Ontario, which is a fair-sized province, we have about 10 million people. It, you can eat inside, but you have to have a mask on just to get to the table and stuff. But outdoors, you can. It's not too restricted.
That's great. Yeah, here in Houston, where I'm at, we have some restrictions. There's mask requirements, social distancing, and things like that. But otherwise, we've been able to lift a lot of the heavy restrictions that we had in the past.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear that things are similar in Ontario. And we're covering a very interesting modality tonight. So this is not an area that I'm super familiar with, but I invite you to begin to talk about the past life regression that is your topic.
Well, what it's about, DK, is that I'm technically a clinical hypnotherapist, and that I graduated 25 years ago. And what it was about is that using hypnotherapy, the normal is to deal with current life. And what happened was is I wasn't sure about past life. And in fact, most hypnotherapy schools don't teach that because more than half of the people in North America don't believe in it. So if you're trying to get the students to come into your program, they're not advertise something or in the training that might scare people off. In the training, though, I did see a demonstration of it, and I wasn't sure about it, but I thought there's more to life than buying your way into heaven, that type of thing. So I did uh, practice on my own past life regression. One thing I do is I do a lot of touring, and where I like to explain to people basically that you don't have to believe in past life for my system to work. My modality that I've developed, in my modality, I get rid of or eliminate, actually, eliminate persistent aches, pains, fears, phobias, and debilitating emotion, debilitating, tongue tied there, debilitating emotions, which, and especially those are the what affect us for like calmness or depression, feeling guilty, unwarranted jealousy, anxiousness, those type of things, which doesn't, add to being calm. But what happened was I found that using past life regression, or the theory of it, people, as I mentioned, that people don't have to believe in it. They can think that they made it up. Bottom line is, as long as you got an open mind and let it happen, I eliminate those concerns, including helping with the emotions I mentioned. But again, you don't have to believe it. I actually work with 5 male medical doctors, and you might think they might be a bit, skeptical, but they're not. They know about the power of the placebo effect in the mind, because your mind is made up of, as you probably know, conscious and subconscious. You're probably aware of that, yes. The
Yes.
conscious part of your mind, DK, is actually only about 5%. It's a processor. And the subconscious, which is actually quite powerful, holds every single second of everything you've done in this life, let alone, like I can take people back and show them being born. All of this is recorded. Just your conscious doesn't get to it very easily, is because it actually whirs around 3 times faster, and there's sort of a layer in between. Because if you were walking along and you could remember every memory of your current life, I think you'd kind of, walk into walls or something or get run over because you'd just be mind blowing. So there's a buffer in there. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you are aware or believe in past life, or not sure which, or have an open mind. Which is it?
I would say I have an open mind. It's not something
Sure.
that I've explored, and so it wouldn't be fair to me for me to say that I believe or don't believe it.
Okay. I appreciate that. See, when I do my talks, most people that come believe in it because that's why they came. But I do get a few with open mind because they've been dragged there by their spouses to listen to my talk. One thing I do find interesting is that when I do my talk, first of all, I do have to explain to people about hypnosis. Hypnosis is the most misunderstood word that I can come across. There is no loss of control. There's no barking like stupid dogs. There's no I walk up to people and zap you. That is a load of BS. Because if that was true, because see, I was a cop for years, and if I heard that somebody in town was walking around, making people do stuff they didn't want to do, I think we'd be putting them in jail for that, putting them away because they'd be dangerous. It doesn't work. It's only to do with television and movies where they see this swinging watch BS. That's just stereotyping, because how you can see a swinging watch with your eyes closed is way beyond me, because that's how you slow down. You close your eyes. That's why when we meditate, right, for that, it's a lot easier with your eyes closed. Makes sense?
Yes, it
You get
does.
less distracted by stuff on the walls or the junk like behind me. So what happened was is that I found that using past life, after practicing with a lot and reading, is that my effectiveness became about 98%, 95, 89% of getting rid of people's concerns. And that is again the the persistent, not just something like you fell down yesterday and got a pain. I'm not going to help you with that. But just if that pain stays there for 20 years, I think you have something that's called persistent. Okay,
Yes.
and I and my doctors remind me too that they know that there's some stuff they can't help. So they, like for example, you might have heard of a thing called fibromyalgia. I don't usually get into big words because I don't care. When I help you get rid of it, you don't need to know what it was that you had 5 years to learn to pronounce. But they said, two of them were, we were laughing, and they said that when you can't figure out or prove where your pain came from, and that pain, fibromyalgia, can be different parts of your body. It's not like it's all on your shoulder or something. If they can't prove where it comes from, they say you have fibromyalgia, because this way at least you feel better that you've got a title to it. Is it fixable? No, not with medicines and stuff. I take care of that. Now, what happened was is that again, when I do a talk, 84% of the people at the talk book a session. That's why when I travel, I leave a few days for doing sessions one on one, because I explain it enough that hypnosis is not something to fear. In fact, I always say, so show of hands, how many people here have ever been hypnotized? And you'd be surprised that hardly anybody puts their hand up. So I politely remind them that they're fibbing, the ones who didn't put their hand up, because we're in hypnosis, DK, 5 to 20 times per day. It's just that people don't know what it means. All hypnosis is only deep relaxation, and there's no disappearing, no floating away. So it's a couple of quick examples of hypnosis so people understand what they don't really, or they think it's not, is a show of hands. Anybody remember high school? There's always a laugh and people put their hands up. Did you ever have a boring subject? More hands go back up. Did you ever daydream during those boring subjects? All their hands go up,
Yeah.
because daydreaming is actually hypnosis, deep relaxation. When you slow down your conscious, because it's really, like I said, going three times faster. When you slow it down, it's easier to get to your memories. And in the memories, you might remember, like you went to a beach, and next thing you know, you're picturing running around the beach, daydreaming. Do we disappear? No, because especially if you're in school, you don't want the teacher catching you. Okay. I do also have something stereotyping. People, when they come into my office, they say, "Where's the bed to lay down?" Stereotyping. I say, "Why? Are you paying me to sleep?" Because you sit in a chair. just that they think that it, disappear, they might fall off a chair. No, if you lay down, you will go to sleep because the subconscious works on repetition. And what do we generally do when we lay down? We relax and fall asleep. Can't talk to you when you're sleeping, and that's why we you don't sit down. Now, what happens is that I found from doing this. A couple more quick examples. Have you ever read a book or watched TV so intently you don't hear people talking to you?
Oh, absolutely. That happens to me
Yes.
frequently.
You're in hypnosis. Deep relaxation, single focus concentration. That's how we used. Remember in the school in the old days, we had to learn, memorize poems and stuff like that. And now people just look at their phone and read them off. Anyhow, what it is that you found, I'm sure you found that it's easier to block everything out and just concentrate and go over it. That's again single focus. And another way to have everybody realize they've been in hypnosis, I simply say, show of hands, how many people here have slept in the last 24 hours? Well, gee, most people obviously put their hand up.
Of
Then I
course.
said, that's hypnosis because all it is deep relaxation. And how much deeper relaxed are you when you're sleeping? So then I say, who's been hypnotized? So unless they weren't paying attention, they all have to put their hand up. The thing that throws people off, the reason I'm explaining all this is so that I get to the part where the calmness comes in. But it's easier to explain how I do all this and then work my way into that.
Of course.
What it is, okay, what it is that when we do or that what throws people off a lot about they think that you lose control is they go and watch hypnotist shows. Hypnotist is not a hypnotherapist. What I am is a therapist that just uses deep relaxation. So, have you ever seen or been to a hypnotist show?
I have not.
No, but you've heard of them and seen. Okay. Well, basically, most
Yes.
people do, and it's that stupid bark like a dog thing. Well, that is not quite right. The illusion that the hypnotist likes to give is, first of all, it's called entertainment, just like TV. Now, I'm sure you're going to be surprised, but a lot of TV isn't the most accurate thing. It's
Right.
exaggerated to make it sound like the stereotyping of swinging watch. So, what happens is the hypnotist, he, a lot of times they do them on shows and they could be on TV, but a lot of times they're just done live shows or even in pubs. And what happens is that people go, some are afraid to go, okay, so what if I get hypnotized and get dragged onto stage? Well, remember, it's deep relaxation. It doesn't work that way. What he looks for is a type of person. 10% of the world are what's called is somnambulistic type people. That took me a year to pronounce. Anyhow, those are people that don't care. They're having fun. They're not embarrassed. They don't, sometimes they're a bit of the center of attention sort of thing. They don't care. Those are the people that he wants. Because what happens is when they go, how he gets them up on stage is he'll have a test for everybody in the audience to lock your fingers together. Then you'll give the suggestion that the more you try to separate them, the harder they won't separate. Now, most people separate their hands, but the ones that aren't, then you just come on up on stage and I'll separate your hands. So when they go up, he just says release or something like that. Power suggestion, really. What happens though, he will say, "Would you like to stay on, have a bit of fun?" Well, most of the people do because they don't care. These are the type of people that go up, but still they can, they don't have to stay up there. They have a free will. Now, what it is that the main thing to know and understand, the people on stage are 100% aware of what they're doing. They don't go out of their mind and block it all and have amnesia, stuff like that. They are having fun. And when he does do the relaxation, it slows them down even more. And what happens basically is they start acting the age of 7 or 8 or younger. And I'm sure you'd understand that acting that age isn't hard to bark like a dog or play musical instruments that aren't there. Now, I tell people a bit more logic. If you really pay attention to these type of shows, and people have confirmed some of this because they've watched that slowly during the evening, he sends people off. And here's the odd thing about this. If they're under his control, that's the wordology. That's another thing. When people say, am I going to go under? I say under the table, under the chair. No, because under implies you're under somebody's control, but you're not. But anyhow, he gives that an illusion that they're under his control because they're acting silly and stuff like that. But why would he have to send people off? It's because kids get bored. Remember, they're acting like kids, and they
Right.
start, jumping around. So for his show, it doesn't look very good when half the audience, half his people up there are sitting, and half aren't. So that's why they do weed them out. So that's sort of a final thing to explain. There is no loss of control because people, we don't like that, and that's why it doesn't happen. Because like headlines in the newspaper: six more banks robbed by hypnotist. They made me give them the money. Well, hello. I don't think that works that way. It never will. And if it did, Las Vegas has a lot more money. I should go down there and hypnotize the dealer that I've won every hand. It doesn't work
Right.
that way. So once people understand that, that is one of the reasons I get so many people that do book a session afterwards. But then also explain what happens when I do what I do. All it is that I am not a reader. I don't say to you, DK, you were a gypsy in a past life. Doesn't work that way. For main reason is I don't know. I'm not a reader. There are people that might tell you that, and they maybe see that, but the whole point is, how does it help you knowing that you're a gypsy in a past life? It's amusement. Mine is not amusement. I get rid of your aches, pains, fears, phobias, debilitating emotions, that type of thing. Because we are an animal like to see to believe. So what happens is that when I tell you you're a gypsy, that's nice, but it's not going to help you. What it is, okay, what I do is I use an example. You see, I'm backing up. I have to ask questions when I do slow you down and makes it easier to get your memories. Then what I do is that I don't see any what you see. If I did, I wouldn't tell you anyways because you have to see it. So all people do is that they list what they want to cover, and I do get a lot of the emotional stuff too, which I'll explain a bit more in a bit. So what happens is I simply say, let's say for example, do you have an ache or pain that's kind of been hanging around for a while?
I don't. I have my own methods of clearing that stuff. So thankfully, no.
Okay. Well, we could find out why you're so healthy. Okay. Anyhow, I worked with a young fellow just today, 21 years old, and he did play hockey during younger years, but he has been to a therapist, uh, physiotherapy, chiropractor, which is a good trade for years. And I use a scale when I'm working with somebody, 0 to 10. 10 is the way it hurts. 0 is when it's gone. And he's had his pains and shoulders, neck, right knee, right leg, right ankle. He forgot about that. And what it is when he left, he was down to about a 1 on all of them. Now, generally, it doesn't go to 0 totally because there's some residual from having a muscle being held tight for a few years, but it'll go to zeros over the next couple of days. So, so what happened is that he saw it. I just know how to ask the right questions. And that's why I have people come to my talk or watch my video of my talk so that when they come to see me, they're not going, why is he saying that? What's he going to say next? How come he's doing this? If you're thinking, you're not relaxed. And that's why I cannot even do this to myself. One of my graduates in California, I had her do a session the other day on me. So I do that partly for practice for them, but occasionally I have a few things pop up. Why now I know why I don't like the look of cottage cheese. Okay. Anyhow,
Okay.
it doesn't look real. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. And when does sour cream? Why don't you use regular cream? Okay. So
Right.
now what happened is that I found that using the past life, my effectiveness became, like you said, quite almost perfect. Current life therapists. Now that is what I could have been doing as a hypnotherapist because I was actually as a regular hypnotherapist I was doing the stereotyping things of smoking, the weight and confidence. Confidence is quite important, and I'll explain how we get help that one. But I found again not very effective. Studied on the past life with some practice people, and found that if I use past life, it gets rid of stuff. So what happens is that when I take you through on a session, sessions are about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I have people list their stuff in order. I do like to do the physical more first in a session because sometimes people are in pain and they can't sit comfortably in the session, which means that they're not going to relax as much. Like lower back is a common pain too. And then I also then take them to a soul group. Apparently, and again, these are things I can't prove. I go by the fact that I've seen about 20,000 of these situations and they're all common. So even a logical person has to go, I think there might be something there. But again, when I do my
Sure.
talk, and if I get people that ask heavy questions, like why, like why is this happening, blah blah blah. Anytime I get heavy questions, I have a good answer. I say, I don't know. If I know how to get rid of your aches, pains, fears, phobias, and debilitating emotions, is that good enough? Yes. So I don't want to get into debates. I'm not there for that. So what happened is apparently we are generally energy. We are not physical. We come into the human body to learn lessons. Now, I do get a lot of people that aren't even unsure about past life. They do think that yes, we have to learn something. And what happens is that's what it's about. Now, apparently, we have a soul group. Our energy is put together with a few other ones, whatever size it is. There's a range. They're not that big, and whatever size it is, it's always going to stay that. So when I do my session, I do take people through a dying so they can see how calm and nice it is when you leave the body. Because the reason, DK, we come into human form is to learn lessons, is because energy doesn't feel aches and pains and emotions. And that's why we do that. It's apparently our group is supposed to mature. When people ask me why, I have my answer, which is I don't know, but I know I've done this 20 over
How it
20,000
is, right?
times, and it seems to be the way it is. So let's make use of it properly. Now, when we come into the human form, apparently we get together with our group, and it's like a play. You're the bad guy because life isn't a chick flick, as you know. You're the bad guy to this time. You're the good guy. You're the one that says, "Will that be fries with that order?" Just passing. So what happens is we come into the human form. We do not remember at all what the lesson is. Because first of all, when you think of the logic, how would you learn if you got the script in your hand today? You got to be happy and like hello. So, and what happens is that we don't remember. So, and then also in sessions, when people say, I like to know what my current life lesson is, I say, good luck with that, because I've tried a couple times. It doesn't pop up. It won't pop up because how are you going to learn? But I can find out the lessons you're supposed to have learned in lives that you hadn't finished. And a lot of this is to do with current body cell memory. Our body cells have a memory. In fact, the AMA, American Medical Association, finished a few years ago with their findings of testing that people with organ transplants are picking up the traits of the person that had that organ. I didn't make that up. They did. That's their
I've
finding.
heard it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And one guy apparently hated pizza. Now he likes pizza, that type of thing.
Right.
So that is what it's about. Body cell memory. Your subconscious is very powerful. It doesn't have a right or wrong. It's also very literal. That's why when I do work with the people, I have to make sure I ask questions very simply, not expressions, because the subconscious can get confused. So what happened is that you the memories. Now what happens is that the lesson's not finished. Apparently they don't go away. They come into the current life. Now, there's two reasons why your lessons weren't finished. One is you got killed too young in that life, or you really screwed up. You were supposed to be met like Mother Teresa and you became Jack the Ripper. I think you screwed up. So, anyhow, apparently, when we come into the human form, each life we come into, we have a new lesson, but we drag the other ones with us. And how do we know? It's because when you have persistent aches, pains, depressions, that type of thing, they're from that. And when you don't know where it comes from, that's the concern. My system is called the unknown noise. Now, I'll give you a quick example for you and your audience. Pretend you're living alone. It's a dark, spooky, windy night, and the wind's howling. Okay, big howl. Middle of the night, there's a crash, and you jump up and go, "What the is that?" Being polite there. Then you
Hmm.
hear it again. You realize it's just the wind blowing a branch against the window. Now, unless you feel it's going to break, we'd go back to sleep. But later that night, there's another crash, loud crash. You jump up and go, what the? Because I don't recognize that. And that's when you can run a little amok, like somebody coming to kill me, a boogeyman, or that type of thing. And unless we check it out, we resort to our childhood, which is we pull up our bulletproof covers and try and get some protection. Don't sleep well because the noise is still bothering you. In the morning, you get up, wind still howling, you're going out the door, and you hear that noise again, DK. It's off to your left. You quickly look to your left, and you see there's a metal garbage can blowing in the wind. The neighbor has a new garbage can. Doesn't like the bags anymore. So when you see that, you're going to make a profound statement, which is it's a garbage can, plus some adjectives about the stupid neighbor. So almost done. Next night, another dark, spooky, windy night. The wind's howling. Garbage cans blow over. 50-50 chance now you don't even wake up. But if you do, you're going to make your profound statement again, which is
Um,
it's the garbage cans. Okay.
the garbage
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what to say about the garbage can. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I give at my talks. I give out virtual cookies. You can have one
Okay.
though. What happened though is is that and adjectives, same thing. Now the point I'm making here is the noise is the same both nights, isn't it?
Yes.
Why doesn't it bother you on the second night?
Because I've heard it before.
Yes, you know what it is. Simple answer. You
Right.
know what it is. Unless you feel the garbage cans are coming to kill you, you would let it go. But
Right.
until you know, that's the concern, the unknown noise. That is why we have aches and pains that are persistent. You can take all kinds of medicines, all kinds of people with new hips and new knees that just shudder. I've had many people cancel those operations because I got to them beforehand and cleared up concern. But the whole point is if I had told you it's a garbage can, hmm, it's when you saw it. That's when we are an animal that likes to see to believe. So that is
Yep.
why when I work with my clients, I take them to that, or I don't take them actually. I simply say, for example, a pain in your shoulder, I'll just say, let your subconscious show you the cause. Now, I say cause if they're not sure about past life. If they're really sure, I'll say, go to the past life. If I say cause this way, I'm not labeling it. So I'll say, let your subconscious show you the cause of why you have the pain in your, or the shoulder concern. I don't call it pains because you're giving it a label which sticks a bit. Concerns. Within moments, eyes are closed. Most people see are visual when their eyes are closed. Some are just sensing. Either way, it works. Like a blind person doesn't have to see you to know you're there. They can hear you, or whatever. So what happened is I'll say, go to the cause within moments. Now, I never know what they're really seeing, but I'm always amazed how they start dancing. Okay. It's like
Hmm.
I first started going like, I hope they do get to there. It's like, oh, how soon are they going to get there? Boom. They'll say, oh, in fact, one guy I'm thinking of offhand, he said, wow, I'm I'm in armor. I'm a male. I'm on a horse. I've got a sword and it's a battle. Wow. This is really good imagination because I don't remember in my current life doing any of this. Okay.
Right.
So, now what happened was he's got a spear from somebody like some of the soldiers would be on the ground. Somebody speared him in the shoulder. Now I don't lead people. I say which shoulder. I don't say is that the one that hurts because that's leading. They always now what's the percentage that the part of the body they point to is the one that hurts? 100%. So now what I do then is I'll say, now that you see where it came from, move your arm around or shoulder. And one of them was actually another day with a real funny one, or sort of this. People say it can't be a past life because it's a car accident. And I'll say, when did it happen? 3 years ago. Your body is very good at healing if you leave it alone. You can actually, like bones can mend in 6 or 7 weeks. So I said, what? How far have you? Can you lift your arm? And she showed me as a different person, up to about there. I said, how long did it take you to get up there? It says 7 months with the physiotherapist. I said, 7 months. I said, now move your arm after she saw that. And she went straight up. The look on
Hmm.
their face when their eyes are closed, like, is always fascinating. This is why I love doing this, to see the look on their faces when the part they can't move for years or whatever is working. And it does this all the time. So that is why this works quite well. Now, what I'm doing is I'm watching the timing here. How much time have I got?
Sure. Yeah, maybe 15 minutes ish, something like that.
Okay, so I'm going to try and break it up so we can do part two
Yeah,
and give
sure.
them, give them something to look forward to.
May,
So
may,
what?
may I interrupt with just a quick question based on what
Sure,
you've
sure.
shared so far? So take the example of the shoulder and the individual who mentioned a past life experience where he was speared right through armor.
Yeah.
Um, you're just to clarify, you're not offering any of that information to him, right? He's bringing all that from his own subconscious
Yeah.
and giving that back to you directly with no prompting other than finding the cause, go back to the cause. Is that right?
That's exact. Yeah, totally. I just that's why I said,
Okay.
and if it's a neck and maybe it hurts on the left side but not the right, I don't say go to the past life that hurts your left neck. I just say go to the past life or cause that's caused your neck concerns because you'll have
Got
other concerns. So the subconscious has to know which, at least which area, and it goes to the right one because it is like a computer. You can have 1,000 past lives. You could have maybe 50 past lives. It varies a bit. The point I have found amazing is that your subconscious holds every single second of every memory. I could take you through years of this, but I think we don't have that much time to do this.
maybe not.
But it's there. It's also why I have to ask questions because sometimes people use a good expressions. The subconscious can get confused. Just like you can actually reprogram yourself by seeing like to improve your memory, for example. I have a little program for that. What it is not, it's, we're born with a perfect memory. And what happens is we get stuff drummed into us. Doesn't mean it's correct, but over and over and over. Just like you know how to go to and from work the same way if you go to the same job. You don't have to look at the address every day because then if you do, you need more help from me. But it's repetition. So what happens is that you get to hear people say things like, "Oh, you can't remember everything," or as you get older, your memory will start to go. You'll also start needing glasses, and you hear all these different things. Hair loss is also mostly power suggestion, seeing or believing all this stuff. So with memory, you ever had a time that you couldn't remember somebody's name?
Yes, I have.
I asked that in the talk, and the hands all go up. And what's really annoying or embarrassing is that when you're talking to that person, what's their name? I can't remember the name.
Uh,
And they're probably wondering why you have that cramp in your face because you're going, oh, what's their name again? And
right.
and what happened? You end up not even listening to them. But what happens is commonly is like 10 minutes later after they're gone, I remember their name. Now here's how this whole thing works. Why does that happen 10 minutes later?
Relaxation is
That's
my
what
thought
a
on.
lot of people think. It's actually how we talk to ourselves. This will lead to the calmness. It's how
Hmm.
we talk to ourselves. When your subconscious hears you say, I can't remember that person's name, it stops looking and blocks it
Ah,
because it takes that as a command. You didn't mean it. I can't remember that person's name. It's there to help you. Oh, can't remember the name. Okay, I'm not going to give it to you so that you feel better that I'm doing what you said. Be careful how we talk to ourselves. Don't talk to Johnny. He's got a cold. You're going to catch that cold. I'm sure you've heard of that BS.
mm-hmm.
How did you get that? From hearing it and believing it over and over. Your subconscious controls your immune system. It will actually lower your immune system so that you're more apt to catch the cold because it's trying to help you. Be careful again how we talk to ourselves. So a lot of the stuff we hear repetition, a lot of times that's what screws us up. So when you say I can't remember that name, that's why you can't remember. And 10 minutes later or later on at 3 in the morning, you'll wake up with I got the name. It's
Right.
because you haven't been telling it now to stop. Originally you did want to know the name. It says, okay, he's not telling me to stop anymore. I can go get it for him. I'll feel better. Too bad you couldn't remember it when you're talking to that person.
Right.
So to improve your memory has nothing to do with relaxation. It's how you talk to yourself. So to improve your memory, what I have people do is that before you go to bed at night, just simply say out loud. When you say something out loud, remember it better than just thinking it. Don't know why. Works good. Just say, I have a perfect memory. It'll just take a moment. Now, after 3 or 4 weeks of doing that, you will actually remove all the blocks that have blocked your memory because you were born with a perfect memory. And the whole logic to this is your subconscious cannot hold a positive and a negative at the same time. And it came with the positive, so it likes to kick out the negative. That, oh, I can't remember everything. I'm going to get brain dead. All that stupidity. So what happens is after about 3 or 4 weeks, you can reprogram yourself, and you find you got an amazing memory. Do not say, I hope to have a good memory. You say, I have a perfect memory. You have to say it as if it's already happened. The subconscious then says, oh, I better go and move it so that it's what he wants or she wants. Don't say, I one of my doctor's friends wanted to remember his dreams. A lot of people wake up and they remember a dream maybe for a few moments, and then it evaporates. There are some people that do, like my wife, who not only knows when she's dreaming and doesn't like it, she changes it. But only very few people do that. The point I'm making is I had him remember his dreams by before he goes to bed. He said, in the morning, I remember my dreams. Not I want to or I hope I will. I remember. Say it as past tense, and your subconscious goes with it. So be careful again how we talk to yourself.
Interesting.
Now, emotions in that. So when I do have people take them to a past life, and I take them through a dying, I take them to their soul group. I actually do have the subconscious, which is a computer, tell you how many past lives you've had, or maybe your imagination of. But I also go on stuck lives. I'm just going to finish this section with this part and tell you more about it on the next one. What happens is that when we go into the human form to learn lessons, DK, apparently our energy is so strong. If you read the book Michael Newton, Life Between Lives, that's got a lot of information in it. And what happens is that we only need apparently about 10% of our energy because it's very strong. Imagine putting in a computer into a robot, and if you put a too powerful one, it's going to blow it up. So we only need about 10%. When we die, the body dies, we leave. We go back to the soul group to confer with some of our soul group members to share what we learned and blah, blah, blah. We don't have to leave. It's free will. Sometimes we don't leave is because, and it will be a very strong emotion. It's because things like I'm going to kill the people that killed me, or I didn't finish my life lessons, or am I really dead? Or ask ask people how many people out there have that stuck feeling. They don't know how to go forward. They feel stuck. That's because you've got at least one stuck life. And there's angers. Pardon me. There's anger. There's a lot of emotions, depressions, and all this kind of stuff. What happened is that emotion and they're being held there is strong. Okay, it's part of your energy. You are part of it. So you are picking up those emotions and you don't know where they came from.
Right.
That is why current life therapy is not that effective because let's put it this way. Let's say, for example, you had a fear of heights, which is number one fear. And let's say you had 100 past lives. If you're a betting person, DK, what's the odds that your fear of heights started in this life? 100
If
to
there
1?
were 100 to 1, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So let's put a safe bet, not on current life. Unfortunately, I've actually worked with psychologists and done sessions with them, and they realize that yes, doing past life, except that's not what they're trained. So they're one is starting to do it a bit now because he realizes, yeah, that's what it works. If you ever read the book Many Lives, Many Masters, ever heard of that one?
I haven't.
No, it's done by Dr. Brian Weiss. He was a psychiatrist who found out that psychiatry, in his practice, he found he couldn't help this one girl until he let her tell her, because he did use hypnosis, but on current life, and all of a sudden she started talking about past life, and he decided that he has to listen to it. And it turned out that 16 months of, or 18 months in his book of psychiatry could not clear up her concerns. 6 weeks of past life regression took care of everything. So there's your odds. What I'm saying is now, here's the thing. When you are stuck, those are the emotions that you're often stuck with. So what I do is that I help you take them home. Now, what I'm going to do is save that for the next session, how this works and what we've done with that. So, any questions?
Perfect. Not right now. I may, as we begin the next session, maybe that'd be a good way to get things started. I may bring back some points and revisit a couple things. And then, of course, save the most of the time since, as you said before, that you're normally running a 2-hour segment. So yeah, for now, no questions. But what I did want to do for anyone in the meantime who may wish to reach out to you is post your information here. Your name, of course, Chris Lee. Your website, pastliferap.com, and then your email address, cl@pastliferap.com. So just want to make sure that's clear for everyone. Just in case next couple of days someone may be interested, then they'll be able to do that. And of course, I am very excited and interested to resume our session on Friday and actually hear more about how this really works.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for having me on this section. And like I said, I'll start off the next one with how this gets rid of all your concerns, gives you calmness, that type of thing. Simple and easy to do. Thank you.
That's totally awesome. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us, and look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Now, for the Center of Calmness, I'm DK Warner.